Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to our Europa Universalis 4 beginner's tutorial / walkthrough, where we are playing as Delhi. And as always, I'm RedBstrd, and I'm back from a brief break where we got something to drink, which was very pleasant, as it definitely dries my throat out, dries my mouth out from doing all this talking. And Cat has decided he would like to join us. Come on up, bud. Wouldn't be a RedBstrd playthrough if the cats didn't make an appearance to meow in the background. Come on, dude. Okay, sorry, let me just get this cat pacified. Rebel faction cat. Progress until next uprising, well, 0 if we pet him a little bit, and he will be quiet. Okay, so back to the game. Where we last left our country, we were in a war in sort of central western India, trying to subjugate some of these states, and due to a little bit of a blunder, we allowed Nagaur to seize one province we otherwise would have taken, so that's unfortunate. We still made off with some money, and we fed our vassal Bangladesh 4 provinces, one of which has a fort, and another of which has a yummy gold mine. So that's going to make them more money, and eventually we're going to incorporate Bangladesh into our country, and we will get that gold mine for ourselves. And all that gold will be used for our nefarious purposes. Okay, so let's try to sign a peace deal here. Now, Dundar isn't eager to sign a peace deal that would that would eliminate them from play. So they're going to resist it, but we're going to ask for that and their money, and in time the suffering of their people will compel them to agree to our terms. So the Lodis are considered to be a disaster for a nation, which is lies and hurtful propaganda. I don't believe it. It's not true. Their manifest incompetence has ruined the state, brought the populace to the verge of outright revolt, and made our neighbors both despise us and plot against us. The best we can do is to preserve, despite the troubles that our useless monarchs have caused. If we lose another point of stability, we gain 2 more inflation, and we get unrest all across our country. Versus, actually, I have faith in our rulers. They can make this work. Okay, so that's the second time we've had an event that gives us inflation. What does inflation do? Well, quite simply, it means our money doesn't go as far. It increases the cost of everything that we spend money on. So, building buildings, maintaining forts, hiring mercenaries, paying for troops, all of that stuff, hiring advisors, it all becomes more expensive. So it says 2.8, but at the end of the month it's going to update for new figures of 4.8. So, and now we've crushed Mewar to the point that they're no longer a valid rival for us, so we can't embargo them without upsetting our merchant class, so we have to revoke that embargo. Okay, something interesting here. Our merchant guilds, and we want to keep their loyalty at 40% or higher, but we could ask them for some money. They'll just give us money. We could do it once every 10 years. And as long as we keep their loyalty at 40% or above, we have no problem. So this would drop their loyalty from 50 to 40, which is exactly where we need it. And we still get our bonuses, and then we have more cash. That's nice. I like that. And we don't want to do too many interactions with our emirs, because we don't want to do anything that gives them more influence over our country. They already control a lot of our country. Let's see, Dundar, how close are you to accepting? Pretty close. A couple months to be willing to accept those demands. We're not allowed to have too many troops here. We can have 9,000, so... let's just leave 9,000 men there. And get the rest back to our country, send them up to Kashmir, where we've got some upset people. Okay, so there's an influx of unbelievers, immigrants crossing our borders recently, refugees of wars and poverty. But they're not going to embrace Islam. What do we do with them? We can send them away, or we can let them keep their faith. Now, sadly, this is one of the times that humanist impulses are not going to work out for us, because we need to keep our piety high. We get bonuses for it. Commit to a side. If you're going to go for low piety, go for low piety. If you're going for high piety, go for high piety. In this case, we've gone for high piety, so we're committing to it. We're going to send these refugees away. Sorry, guys. Nothing personal. Okay, Kathiawar. Let's see if we could just get them to agree to peace. They're getting beat up, so they're actually going to accept that offer if we just wait a few more months. No, actually they won't. So we're going to work just through Dundar. In a couple months, they should. So it's comparing the reasons that they have for agreeing versus the reasons they have for rejecting that. Kathiawar, can we get you to agree to peace? No. And now we can support even fewer troops there. Sometimes it fluctuates with the weather. Let's actually just pull those troops out entirely. This province is a desert death trap. Although it's in the region of Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan, where they have, it's the province of India where they have camels famously. And Jaipur is a city known for its pink buildings, based off of the clay, I believe, that they use. So it's pretty architecture. I've done research in India, so I was in Delhi and we traveled around a little bit. Okay, they're not eager to sign this peace deal. But if we can get their ally to abandon them, Jampur is attacking Gwalior right here. As I was saying, if we can get Dundar's ally to abandon them in the war, then we could demand whatever we want of Dundar. They'll be thoroughly defeated and have no ability to refuse. No hope of outside assistance. So right now they're holding out a very feeble hope that Kathiawar will be able to somehow eject us from their land. It's not going to happen. But we just have to wait for Kathiawar to surrender, or their fort to surrender to whoever's beating them up. In this case, Gujarat. I'll note that I've got the speed on 4 right now. You should probably play when you started out on 3. But I often play on like speed 5 and just pause it whenever I need to. But speed 3 is about what people play on, usually on multiplayer. And they just get used to not pausing it. Unless there's some like real-life crisis going on in their household, in which case they can pause it, or people have agreed to take a break. If you don't play on too high of a speed, you'll make mistakes, particularly when trying to chase around armies on the battlefield. I do that sometimes, but, you know. Okay. What we see is that Kathiawar is fully occupied by Gujarat. So we can offer them a peace deal, and they're willing to accept it, because they're just in such bad shape that they're incapable of fighting us. They just went out of the war. So we just agreed to stop fighting Kathiawar. We're still at war with Dundar, and now Dundar is alone. They have no army. All of their provinces are occupied. We have a complete victory. So we can basically force whatever peace deal on them we wish. We demand their province, which is going to upset some people. It's going to upset 6 countries, but one of them is Dundar, and they're not going to exist. Another one is Kathiawar, who I don't think is going to exist after this. Let's see, Mewar is now tiny. They're just one province. And they have a peace treaty with us, so they can't do anything to hurt us. Yeah. So we will take their province and all of their money. It's going to give us a little bit of overextension and upset people a little around us a little bit more. But we've run out of manpower, basically. So we need a period of recovery anyway, and I'll give people time to get over our aggressiveness. Okay, now we've got 300 ducats. What do we want to do with it? Well, we could build more forts, but forts cost money, so we don't want to do that. We could build a mosque to collect some money, or we could build some trade buildings. I'm going to go with a couple trade buildings. In the places where I see, you can just look at the map and click on trade building. It tells you what it's going to give you in the green. It will give us 7 more trade power. And here we can see it'll give us 6.81. We just compare that to all the other provinces. These are 2 really rich provinces. And we could, if we save up a few more ducats, we could start building some temples in our country to collect more taxes. Okay, what's our next move? And we're still trying to improve our prestige, and we haven't quite got there yet, but we're low on manpower. So mostly what we should be doing is trying to manage the diplomatic situation. So Jaisalmer is really upset. They're outraged at what we've done to the nations around us. So we can use one of our diplomats to try managing that by improving their opinion of us. This country is also outraged. I think I'm going to work on a Nagaur, because they're bordering us. Let's improve relations with them and set them as friendly. Now, as we're expanding, we're going to be able to get a larger army. We could just keep an eye on that, either going through our production interface here, or a main country view to the military tab. And now that we've expanded, we're allowed to have 22 units of troops, or 22,000 troops. So let's get some more. Get another unit of horses, and we don't have enough men to make more. Now we do. We need 1,000 manpower to field 1,000 troops. Okay, so now we've got 2 units in production, and we can see them under production here. And you got several ways that you can make troops. You can go to your production interface over here and click on the unit, and then just click on the map where you want to produce it. And as long as you have the money and the manpower, we don't have the manpower, but as long as you did, you could just click it and it would start building them there. You could also click on one of your armies and just click the plus button. I would like more infantry. And it'll make them in a nearby province, and they'll march there and join up with your army. Last option is you just click somewhere on your map and you could recruit regiments here. Again, as long as you have the money and the manpower. So they need 1,000 able-bodied men. That tells you how long it takes. Okay, so what is this institution? We're at peace now, so we could try to embrace the Renaissance. And how we do that, you can see that it's already increased the cost of our technology by 1. How we can spur on its growth, since it's not naturally growing in our provinces, they'd be colored with green if it's present, or this etched green lines if it's growing. As long as you have some of the downloadable content, in this case, downloadable content of common sense, you have the option to spend some of your monarch points to develop in a province. So if you want to increase the base tax, you use administrative power. If you want to increase the base production, use diplomatic power. If you want to increase the manpower, use military points. So we can just click on one of our provinces, like Delhi, and we can spend some of our points to develop this province to be wealthier. And every time we do it, we get increasingly more progress of this institution. So we're a third of the way towards having the Renaissance in Delhi. And every time we do this, we get some bonuses. If we increase the base tax, obviously your taxation increases, increase the base production, you produce more goods, so you get a little bit of money, and it increases your trade goods produced. So if you're trade power, you'll end up making more money from trade. And if we increase the manpower, we will be getting each year more men. Every time we click this to increase it, we get 250 more men are added to our country over the course of the year. And then that's broken down by each month. We'll get some men. So, in this case, it's about 21 men. Sorry, I need to take a drink. My mouth is getting dry here, all the talking. Just kind of a trade-off if you use this. If you're caught up on technology or you're ahead of time on technology, you can freely spend it to invest. You gotta spend points to save points. And as I said, you get increasingly more the higher the development is. Call back that diplomat. Now, one thing that is an option to you is after you've had a vassal for 10 years or longer, as long as your relations are plus 190 or better, you could try annexing them, bring them into your country as part of your territory. And you get all of their territories become your territories, their armies become your armies, their cores become your cores. So let's set one of our diplomats to the job of doing that. We want to annex Bangladesh. We'll upset our other subject a little bit if we do that. And it takes some of our diplomatic power each month to do that. Okay, as I noted, the higher development gets, the more progression we get towards our next institution. So it's at 32.65% if we develop our production here. It is now 37.48. Although we're not going to spend too many more diplomatic points on this project, as we need them to integrate Bangladesh into our country. We can use military points, and now we're 42.48% of the way towards embracing the Renaissance, or getting the Renaissance present in Delhi. So this is going to be a really big, well-developed, rich province. Okay, this is interesting. Nagaur is getting beat up. Nagaur had attacked Mewar, and they're losing that war. Nice, gift to the state. So we've been governing well, and sometimes that prompts the nobility and businessmen to donate cash to the treasury. So we could put that in our treasury, or we could spend it on public works and get 10 prestige. Let's get 10 prestige. We're trying to increase our prestige. Now, Nagaur got eaten, and they were forced to release Dundar as an independent country once again. Interesting. So let's fabricate a claim on Dundar and try to get that province. So move this army south onto this newly conquered territory, and we're told that our subject, Maywat, has some noble rebels rising up. Let's put the general in charge of this army and march into battle. And why are we using generals? I should note that, let's just look at this again. When we attack somebody, remember it's comparing in a fire phase. There's two phases of battle. The fire phase, there's a fire phase, shock phase. Fire phase, shock phase. And it compares in the fire phase the fire score of their general to our general. If you don't have a general, then obviously his fire is 0. And that compares shock to shock, and of course if you don't have a general, the shock is 0. If you don't have a general, you don't have any maneuver, so your troops won't move as quickly, and you'll probably suffer more attrition. And if you don't have a general, you won't have a siege, so you won't have any bonuses to trying to capture cities. But we slaughtered them easily, we had larger numbers. And every time you have a general engage in battle, you have a chance to have that general learn a trait, just like our ruler has a trait. And our general has infantry combat ability as his trait. He's master of arms as his trait, so any infantry fighting with him are 10% more effective. Glorious. And of course, our subject Maywat is happy that we are protecting their province from rebels. And let's spend some more points here to try to get our Renaissance up from 42.48. Now it's at 47. So it's growing by 5% each time. 5% and change. We could expect that it will take around 10 more times. Possibly 9, depending on how much it picks up. Because each time it's getting us a little bit more. Because it scales with the development. Crazy rebels are tearing through this part of the region. And Jampur, our hated enemy to the east, has picked up some territory. We don't like seeing that. Now we've grown a little bit larger, we could support a slightly larger army. Let's get another unit of infantry. Actually, this province can only support 10 units. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so as I stated before, after 10 years, our ruler will get a second trait. So he's charismatic, and now he's silver-tongued. So people will get over our aggressive expansion. The hostile actions we take, our conquest, 20% more quickly. So that's great. Sad news, though, the ruler of Bengal died. We had a royal marriage with them, and that has come to an end. We're going to need to get a new royal marriage with them. Just checking on the video to keep an eye on our time. They might send us a royal marriage offer. Otherwise, once we have a free diplomat, we will do that ourselves. Gujarat down here has declared us as a rival. That will not end well for you guys. Just letting you know. Okay, so we want to claim on Dundar as soon as possible before they can get any allies. Okay, Bengal has offered us a royal marriage, and since they're not as prestigious as us, we'd lose a little bit of legitimacy right away. We get it back over time. Improves our relations with them, and we'll have a higher chance of a new heir if we need one. Sounds good. Let's put a ring on it. And every year we lose a little bit of prestige. It decays downwards towards 0. Try to develop our province here a little bit more. Every time we develop, it becomes a little bit more expensive to do it. We're at 58%. Eventually we're going to have rebels rise up in the province of Kangra. Let's send our army over to deal with them. Okay, so we have more than 20 spy power. We can fabricate a claim on Dundar. Let's do that. And now we can pull this guy back. And we can invade them. I didn't wait till the first of the month, but I knew that we wouldn't need to go far, and we could just crush their troops. And now we have an event that tells us that our emirs are losing influence in the country. Okay, that's fine. So we only need 3,000 troops there. Let's leave 4 behind for the siege, and get the rest of the guys back onto our territory to help put down these rebels. Now it tells us that we're not making any progress on coring Shekhawati because we're at war with Dundar, who has a claim to this province. So we can't, for balance reasons apparently, we can't core this province until we sign peace. Okay, we need to improve relations with people. Sind likes us quite a lot. They would actually agree to an alliance. Jaisalmer likes us quite a lot, and they would actually become our vassal if we wanted to. So let's improve relations with them. And let's tell them that we hurt them too. You might not have this option if you don't have all the downloadable content, but we do, so. Okay, this is 30 minutes in, so I'm going to stop the video. Thank you for watching. If you've liked this, please consider liking the video and or subscribing to my channel. And of course, feel free to ask any questions in the comments if you're a new player, or you're just watching it because you've got nothing better to do or you're not familiar with the game, feel free to ask comments, ask questions, post comments, whatever. Thank you.